All right, welcome to Smokey Approved Korea. I'm your boy journalist, and on this one, we are here to do the most beautiful life goes on, the story of BTS. I'm doing this one even though done the Taylor one. I did somebody else. I feel like this is like day one activities. However, we are just doing our due diligence, and there's a lot of people still requesting this one. And those are people that have also seen me do the Taylor video and the other video, and they just feel like this might provide more of a concise viewpoint of BTS and where we are at in current times. So to just make sure that we have all the, we'll say, major highlighted videos that are like the BTS starter packs out of the way so we can continue to move forward. This is why we're also doing this video. So shout out to Rice Squad and them folks for putting this together. Shout out to everybody that's been supporting the channel. Thank you guys very much for joining me. Please do hit that like, subscribe. Patreon is in the description box. And if you guys after this feel like you got an extra couple minutes, I myself and my collective culture clan have a bunch of new music out right now, and it is available on the channel. We got a song called Pull Up. We got another one called Plastic Pounds. I got another song called Firewalker. We got a couple of game shows that we're doing in the house right now available on the channel right now as well. So got a lot of content as well. So if you give me a couple extra minutes and go check that out too, that'd be a great help. That said, let's get into this and see what Rice Squad has put together for us to know what I did not understand or know already.
A big announcement and a change to the channel. We are rebranding. The era of the Asian theory is over. We are pleased to announce the new channel name. Wait for it. Rice Squad. We believe this name more strongly represents our brand and who we are as a channel.
My Western brain says that this is something that is a reclamation of a word that might have been used against, but also as a unifier. What I mean by this is like how in the black community, watermelon is seen as a racist joke that people make against black people, but honestly watermelon is actually a staple food product that helped enrich black people after reconstruction, and they only made fun of those black people for watermelons because you had to buy them from black people and they was making so much goddamn money. So when it comes to Rice Squad, I feel like it's kind of the same thing. It's a staple food product within the Asian community that unifies all of them, because they may have, without me knowing who Asian theory was before, Asian theory doesn't particularly always cover all parts of Asia, versus Rice Squad more so focuses the parts of Asia that they probably were trying to represent and more so meant to represent. And I feel like that's kind of the name. This is a complete different tangent on what we're talking about, but that's just how I felt about the name change with knowing nothing about Rice Squad or Asian theory. But I just had to say my little 2 cents.
Represents our brand and
So let's get into this now. The BTS's, the squads in that. Big Namjoon Kim. That's that boy. Sokjin. Sokjin. I'm about to butcher all these names. Yoonjik Min. That's that boy Suga. Hosak. Hosak Kun. Jimin. Listen, that boy name got a hyphen in it. Shout out to that man. My daughter's name had a hyphen in it. Hey, Younger, he got a hyphen too. Shout out to the hyphen gang, cuz. Cook. Jordan. BTS. I know them folks. Fire and Ice. Yo, the level of production
for
in
this
this.
video, we've partnered up with Vapor 95. Vapor 95 is an LA-based company that makes really cool aesthetic clothing and home goods about anime, vaporwave, and retro 80s.
I'll be honest, these designs are shit. Colorways are good. I like Vapor colorway. Like, I like that. Some of the design elements are good, but these are so fuck, you pay somebody on Fiverr to go a little bit harder. Like, this seems like mass produced consumerism Just shoved that 52, quit 70. Yo, fuck that. Come buy a jumper from $1 Billion Plot, cuz. That's way too. Look at this shit. Nah, blood. Come to $1 Billion Plot. I'll lace you properly. This jacket right now, this is mine. I designed it. No. Look, I'm sorry. I'm skipping the advert. I thought it was going to be good clothes. Shout out to the Man in Vapor, but that's shit design.
The name of BTS. Now, onto the video. Today, everyone knows the name of BTS. They've been invited onto late night talk shows, they've shattered records, they've sold out stadiums, they've made it onto the big screen. These days, you'd be hard pressed to find someone who didn't know who these guys were or haven't heard at least one of their songs. And if they don't, either they've been living under a rock or they're 100 years old. The success of the Bangtan Boys is worldwide, but it wasn't always like this.
The very existence of BTS can be owed to its founding father, an innovator by the name of Hitman Bang. His idea to create a rap group was somewhat inspired.
Imagine that Bang was actually an assassin, like the Hitman in the Hitman game series. But he's just a nice smiling man like this. But he's really out there doing Hitman assassins, really on some John Wick things.
By YG. In the late 90s, he experimented with this idea with different trainees, eventually choosing 7 members. And while 3 of them eventually left, the remaining 4, Teddy, Danny, Jinhwan, and Baekhyun, debuted in 1998 as One Time. Their first album, titled One Time for Your Mind, was one of the year's best-selling albums and won several awards, including the Global Disc and SBS Music Awards for Best New Artist and KMTV's Award for Best Hip Hop Artist. The group enjoyed moderate success and released 4 more albums before going on indefinite hiatus in 2006 due to their mandatory military service.
The year was 2010, and the 5-year-old company Big Hit Entertainment had previously signed 2 artists, 88 and 2AM. They had their share of successes, but they were very traditional K-pop groups. Big Hit wanted a fresh new sound, and upon listening to One Time, CEO Hitman Bang Si-hyuk had decided that that was the sound that he had been looking for. And on top of that, the youth needed someone to relate to, but more importantly, to look up to. He decided that he would create a hip-hop group.
At 15 years old, Kim Namjoon auditioned for a certain Big Deal Records, which he completely botched, forgetting the lyrics to the song he was performing. Afterwards, fellow rapper Sleepy recommended that he try auditioning at another label, Big Hit, and even put in a good word for him to one of the producers there. At age 16, Namjoon auditioned in front of Bang Si-hyuk himself, and instantly impressed him. He was offered a deal with Big Hit on the spot, which Namjoon accepted and became a trainee, officially choosing a name for himself, Rap Monster, destined to become the leader of the newly created group. Now, Rap Monster, destined to become the leader of the new...
Oh my god, who installed them shits? Oh, that nigga look like Knuckles from fucking Sonic. That nigga look like an evil side character. What is this, my name? Yo, who told my man? No! No, my nigga, no.
Newly
Oh man, he looks like he's just masterminding the plan.
created group. Now that a fearless leader was chosen, they needed more members.
My little sugar.
Min Young-gi was a 17-year-old living in Daegu, an avid basketball player and rapper. He had been interested in music, especially rap, from a very early age, and despite his parents' disapproval, started performing as a rapper while still in high school. He quickly gained attention as a rapper and producer in the underground hip-hop scene. One day he saw a flyer for a rap competition called Hit It and decided to participate. And although he only placed second, the company hosting the competition, you guessed it, Big Hit, decided to sign him on as a producer. Hitman Bang spoke with him afterwards, convincing him to join a newly created hip-hop group. He told him to just focus on rapping and assured him that he wouldn't need to dance. He was lying. And just like that, the new group had a second member, known as Suga, a combination of the first 2 syllables of shooting guard, his favorite position in basketball. But they wouldn't stop there. Rappers were nice, but Big Hit actually needed a dancer.
That nigga Hobie.
Jung Ho-seok always loved dancing. He was in the starting lineup of the dance crew.
I wish one day J-Hope flips his last name or his first name Hoseok into telling whack rappers or people that talk shit to BTS that you Hoseok. That shit would be hilarious if he flipped Hoseok into telling people that you Hoseok. I would love that. I would die laughing. It would be such a great moment.
Neuron in his hometown, Gwangju. He was good at it too, winning several local championships and even winning a championship at the national level in 2008. While he did perform at several competitions hosted by JYP and even won some of them, he ultimately went on to audition for a smaller, lesser-known company, Big Hit Entertainment. His dance skills and strong understanding of rhythm made him an instant favorite, and he was signed on as J-Hope. Not only that, but they saw potential in him to become a rapper, which at this point he had little experience with. However, J-Hope made the decision to leave Big Hit until RM convinced both J-Hope and Big Hit that the group wouldn't be complete without him. He was right.
아니 근데 형 항상
종호석 와야 된다고. 종호석 안 오면 진짜 안 된다고. 멤버 그냥 믿고 간 거야. 나도 그냥 오래 했고 멤버 보고 왔어. 멤버 보고 왔어 진짜. 근데 나는 진짜 네가 그 예업.
With the addition of J-Hope, the rap line was complete. Now they needed some singers. Now, just like how RM, an amazing rapper with a ton of experience, was chosen as the first official member of the rap line, it would only make sense that a legendary singer and dancer would be the perfect first member of the vocal line. Right?
Nope. Mr. Worldwide Handsome.
But Kim Seok-jin didn't have any sort of experience like that. Believe it or not, one day when he was walking on the streets of his hometown, Anyang, he was approached by a representative of SM Entertainment with an offer to work for the company. In typical Jin fashion, he never followed up with them because he believed it to be a scam. Apparently, Jin was a very good-looking guy because years later, this time as a college student in Seoul, he was once again approached on the street, this time by an executive at Big Hit Entertainment. He didn't sing, he didn't dance. He was at school to become an actor, and he decided to audition to become an actor. Big Hit, however, had different plans for him, and convinced him to become a vocalist for their new group. To do so, he literally learned to dance and sing starting from zero, but thankfully, not without help from other vocalists.
Nah, he has some natural talent as well. Let's not forget that. My little
Jung
nigga.
Kook initially had dreams of becoming a badminton player when he was young, but after seeing G-Dragon perform Heartbreaker on television, it influenced him to want to become a singer instead. Because of this, at only age 14, he decided to audition for the South Korean talent show, Superstar K. He didn't pass auditions, but this was just enough to catch the eye of not one company, not two companies, but 7 different companies. This included JYP, FNC, Woollim, Starship Entertainment, TS, Cube, and of course, Big Hit Entertainment. So why did Jungkook, given the choice of all these bigger companies, decide to go with the relatively smaller company, Big Hit? The answer was simple. Because he thought, and I quote, RM was cool, so I wanted to sign with them. That brings the number of members to 5. The next member of BTS was just as surprised to find Big Hit as Big Hit was to find him. And
I feel like since I already know some of this origin story stuff, I feel like the order of selection was completely different. But I could be wrong. I don't know if he's actually going in like correct selection order, but the way he's talking about like why each person picked is definitely correct. And I didn't particularly know that J-Hope decided to like say fuck this shit. I won't fuck with you niggas. I'm out of here. And then Sugar and RM was like, nah, my nigga, like we got this. We got this. And then if I'm the person that is a YM or SYM, whatever that is, I'm firing some niggas. And we gotta fix our ship because we're too massive that people think that it's a scam when you approach people on the street on behalf of my business. That means that we're not running this thing properly. That there's an era of if somebody walks up to you on the street from my company, it's gonna be a scam because we could have been had a couple of these folks in our building. And then the fact that we didn't pick J-Hope when he was out here shaking his booty for us, the hell? Like we're messing up. This is 2 massive misses. This is like in American sports when when Michael Jordan got drafted to the NBA, somebody got drafted before him. And that guy's, I don't even remember the last name. That's the whole point. That's the whole goddamn point. We're the team, if we're SYM or whatever their name is, we're that team that drafted the guy before Jordan. And we could have drafted Jordan because we had the ability. What the hell is wrong with us? We are messing things up.
it almost didn't happen.
My nigga V!
Kim Tae-young was always passionate about music, and it was always his dream to pursue it as a career. However, it was hard, as his family was poor, his parents being humble farmers. His father told him that if he was passionate about music, he should learn an instrument, and he did, spending 3 years practicing with the saxophone. One day, one of his friends decided to audition for Big Hit Entertainment when they were holding auditions in his hometown of Daegu. Taeyoung, being a good friend, came with him to keep him company. But when one of the team members in charge of the audition saw Taeyoung, he encouraged him to audition as well. With nothing to lose, he did. That day, he was the only one in Daegu to move on to the next round of auditions, and eventually became a trainee for Big Hit Entertainment. They decided to keep him as a surprise member and didn't want to reveal him as one of the members until his debut. In the same vein, Big Hit had him choose something mysterious for his stage name. He decided to go with V for victory. Here seems like a nice round
Boy, got a
number to
rapper
start,
name.
right? 6 members for a new hip-hop group, 3 rappers and 3 vocalists.
You still need somebody,
It seems
cut.
like a complete group, but still there was something missing.
missing somebody, cut.
Someone was missing. Someone that could take this already great group of artists and push it even further to achieve perfection. A powerhouse.
big
Someone
man
so
Jimin.
naturally talented that they could stand out in a room full of already talented artists. This project that Big Hit had embarked upon needed a capstone. Park Jimin was a naturally talented dancer. When he was in middle school, he attended a dance academy and continued to pursue dance at Busan High School of Arts, where he studied contemporary dance and was the top student in the whole modern dance department. Impressed by his raw talent, a teacher encouraged him to audition for Big Hit Entertainment, who were holding auditions in Busan. He was only 16 when he passed the audition and moved to Seoul to become a trainee. He was the final member of the group, and he also had the shortest training period. Interesting to note is that the group feels very much ragtag because, in a sense, with the exception of Jimin and J-Hope, it was. RM auditioned for Big Hit because he didn't pass his auditions with the first company he chose.
And despite their amazing talent, Suga and Jungkook didn't win the competitions they were in, but they signed on with Big Hit after the fact because of their high quality performances. V never even planned on auditioning, but just decided to do it on a whim, and Jin, they literally just found Jin on the streets. But perhaps it was fate. This was the group that they chose.
So does that make Jin for the streets if they found him on the streets? Is that how that works?
And just like that, in 2012, the newly created Bangtanso년dan, the Bulletproof Boy Scouts, or
Bangtanso년dan.
simply BTS. Newly created Bangtanso년dan, the Bulletproof Boy Scouts, or simply BTS. was set.
BTS.
저도 아침에 리허설 때 이거 보고 많이 웃었습니다.
They had the group, but they still needed the music. In early
Wow, yo. See if I'm RM. Imagine somebody asked me like, yo, so why are these other members in this group? Like in this group? Like what made you think that these other 6 members were going to be good? He could just flip BTS's name just by all because they're special. Like there's so many BTS flips that he could just do. Does he have BTS flip, like name flip bars? Do we even understand as BTS fans what a name flip bar is? It's a concept that comes from battle rap. If not, it's essentially just using somebody's name in a regular way and just deconstructing it to be able to use it in normal parlance. Is that something that we do in RM's raps? Does anybody from the rap line do BTS name flips?
early 2013, they set out to create some social media presence for themselves before officially debuting, posting song covers on both SoundCloud and YouTube, which you can still go watch today.
In May, Big Hit launched a countdown clock on their website in preparation for BTS's debut album, complete with a trailer and a ton of promotional material, including photos for the first time of all the members in the official lineup. Finally, the big day came. June 12, 2013, BTS held a press conference and a debut showcase where they performed their 2 singles, No More Dream and We Are Bulletproof Part 2. The same day, the Too Cool for School album, as well as the music video for No More Dream, were released. The very next day,
Wait, what song is this?
the Too
What's the
Cool for
song?
School album, as well as the music video for No More Dream.
No, hold on, I'm sorry. We have to take a divergence. My ADHD brain says no. I need to hear this. What's No More Dreams? Yeah. But I need to know, does a man have an instrumental? I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a second. I have, like, my brain says I need to know this. So give me 1 second, please. I need to know. Please be an instrumental. Please. Ooh, high quality instrumental. Oh, come on. I keep going. Keep going. What do the rest of the drums sound like? Okay, I might rap on that. I'm sorry. That doom doom doom, that heavy bass line that comes in the back, it just draws me in and wants to rap on it like so badly. So badly. It's like some real, like, I'm gonna flex on these niggas. Like, I'm gonna talk cash shit. That's gonna be one of those. I probably will have no it will have no parallel to the actual BTS record because I just want to rap on it. I don't even. I'll listen to that when we get into the school era, but we'll be covering that. But I have no want to know what the real song sounds like until then. That is an instrumental alone. I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna smoke the shit out of that beat. Maybe I might take a couple minutes to sit down and try and write to it.
The very next day, BTS performed the song again on their official debut stage on Mnet's M.
This is your first time here, and you're wondering what do I sound like on a BTS song? Well, I've done a remix to Dang. It's on the channel as well. You can go check that out.
Countdown. This was the world's first taste of BTS. Commercially, the album didn't do extraordinarily well. The lead single, No More Dream, peaked at 124 in Korea, and the album sold only 24,000 copies during its first year. Bulletproof Part 2 didn't even chart. The first year wasn't all that great for BTS, but despite everything, people saw them. People saw the sparkle in their eyes and their limitless potential. And they were hot, of course. On July 9th, ARMY was established as BTS's official fandom. They made their comeback only 2 months later in September when they released their single No, along with their EP, part 2 of what would be their school trilogy. When they
My favorite part about seeing old BTS
released
shit
their single
is
No,
RM's
along with their
hairstyles.
EP, part
Where's
2
my
of
nigga? My nigga got a perm. Oh, it's so wonderful. It's also funny because this is the same man that made Wildflower, and that's what makes it so special to me. Is because the amount of growth, maturity, and longevity just packed into what this hairstyle is on this day, and what it'll be later on in life, and how it is probably in this exact moment, are so far apart from each other. It's just so, it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
of what would be their school trilogy, Oh, Are You Late 2. In the music video for the single, they made a commentary on the harsh Korean education system, along with their previous themes of hopes and dreams. No peaked at 92 in Korea, but also quickly fell off the charts. The album debuted at number 4 on the Gaon Weekly chart and was the 55th best-selling album in South Korea that year. This was enough to secure them the coveted New Artist of the Year award at the Melon Music Awards, the Golden Disc Awards, and the Seoul Music Awards. Part 3 of the School Trilogy was released in February of 2014, the EP School Love Affair. This time, the lead single was Boy in Love, and the other single being Just One Day. The album, as well as both singles, enjoyed moderate
That sounds like
success,
some
with the
Neo
album
vibes.
topping the Gaon album chart, as well as making its first international appearance at number 3 on the Billboard World Albums chart. The album also marked their first distinctive change in theme, focusing more on school life and young love, as evidenced by their Boy in Love music video. They also held their first fan meetings with a crowd of 3,000 in Seoul. BTS was doing well. That is, until July. This is unfortunately a dark chapter in the lives of BTS and ARMY. July. This is unfortunately a dark chapter in the lives of BTS and ARMY. That's right, American Hustle Life. I'm joking, of course, but American Hustle Life was a reality show put together by Mnet that brought BTS to Los Angeles, where they had the unique opportunity to learn the true ways of hip-hop from the masters. And it was a pretty darn cringy opportunity, but an opportunity nonetheless. Whatever you do, just don't watch the Warren G version of Boy in Love. You've been warned. However, cringe and all,
I'm watching all of that. I will for sure be watching Hustle Life, and I will be talking shit about any OGs that are supposed to be OGs that I'm just like, it'll probably be like my rap career, because I'm for sure gonna be way more famous outside of America than I'll ever be in America, and I'm calm with that, because America is not the only place in the world, and shit, the rest of the world is so much fun. Like, I don't give a fuck. But there's a lot of people that I probably think are OGs that are gonna be on this American Hustle life that I'm like, I actually know Blood, and he's a dickhead. Like, nobody likes him, but he seems to have a lot of people that still bring his name up. But I have no idea who's on there yet, so we'll wait to hold that judgment until I actually see it, but I plan on watching it though.
Proved fruitful for BTS, making connections, performing their first US concert for free in front of 200 fans, as well as their first appearance at KCON. The next month, in August, BTS released their first full-length studio album, Dark and Wild. The album featured 2 singles, Danger and War of Hormones. The album featured a marked shift in sound with a touch of R&B and electronica. It was met with moderate success. It peaked at number 2 in Korea, selling over 200,000 albums. In October and again in May of the following year, BTS went on their first and second concert tours, known as the Red Bullet Tour, where they visited 13 different countries, including Japan, the Philippines, Australia, the US, Mexico, and many others. They also came out with their first Japanese album in December, Wake Up, featuring many Japanese versions of their songs as well as original tracks Wake Up and The Stars, followed by a Japan tour and a solo concert.
Does Korean translate almost directly into Japanese, or does it translate into Japanese easily that we're able to make these translation albums so seamless?
Concert in Korea. Although Dark and Wild got decent attention, they needed something different. They needed something that would shake things up. They got to work. April 29, 2015 was their comeback. When this album was produced, each member had a hand in writing songs for the album. They again changed their sound, from aggressive hip-hop to youthful, colorful styles. And not only their sound, but their image as well. This can be evidenced by their newest EP, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life. And just by looking at the album cover, they ditched the dark colors and the bulletproof vest symbol that had become so synonymous with BTS, and replaced it with a simple white and pink background overlaid with the title. And then, they dropped the single that would change everything. I Need You. It was sentimental, it was hopeful, it was new. Just by looking at the music video, we can see that BTS has also ditched their punk bad boy image and replaced it with a more real, vulnerable, down-to-earth, and youthful feel. This proved to be the change that BTS needed for mainstream success. Billboard called it one of the greatest K-pop songs of the decade. It charted at number 5 in Korea, and even led them to their first music show win on SBS MTV's The Show. And that wasn't all. They released their second single, Dope, on June 24th, which started off with a poignant line from RM.
어서 와. 방탄은 처음이지?
Welcome. Is this your first time with BTS? And you know what? For a lot of people, it was. In a way, their first studio album and tour can be seen as their stepping stone between old school BTS and new school. In November, they came back with their follow-up EP, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Part 2, the second EP in what would be dubbed the Youth Trilogy, which featured the single Run. The album focused even more on the frivolity, friendship, and carefree attitude that comes with enjoying one's youth, but just like in I Need You, contrasted that with suffering, depression, loneliness, society, and the stark and sometimes dark reality of life. Compare this with the far cry of the No More Dreams music video. It felt real. It was darker, grittier, more humble, more meaningful, and most importantly, RM lost his mohawk. Run also connected narratively with their previous single, I Need You, and another video released in September titled On Stage Prologue established what would come to be known as the BTS universe, or the BU, which would eventually combine music videos, short films, books, short stories, webtoons, and even a mobile game to create a cohesive story. And I won't go down this rabbit hole because there is a lot to digest, but it's definitely something to look into if you're a hardcore ARMY. The same month, they kicked off their third tour, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life on-stage tour, where they performed songs from their 2 recent EPs, Part 1 and Part 2. And Part 2 was a hit, their biggest so far. It topped the Weekly Gaon album and Billboard World Albums charts, and on Billboard, it stayed there for multiple weeks, the first K-pop act to do so. It also appeared on the Billboard 200 albums chart, not world albums, which is reserved for foreign non-English songs, but simply the top 200 albums, peaking at 171. which is kind of amazing considering that this was back in 2015. They also received Best World Performer at the 17th Mnet Asian Music Awards. This brings us to part 3 of the Youth Trilogy, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Young Forever, released on May 2nd, 2016, which featured probably my favorite BTS album cover. Young Forever was actually a compilation album of parts 1 and 2, so it was mostly the same songs, but it was notable that it had some new singles, Epilogue, Young Forever, Fire, and Save Me. The latter two
Steroids. Good steroids. There's no music on them. That's steroids.
performed exceptionally well, with both songs topping the Billboard World Digital Songs chart. This was also the second BTS album to chart on the Billboard 200 at 107, and it topped both the Gaon Weekly and Monthly chart, which earned BTS their first Daesang.
방탄소년단 축하드립니다.
Album of the Year at the 8th Melon Music Awards. They went on to do the second half of their tour, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life on Stage Epilogue, selling out many of their concerts and even selling out KCON in the US where they headlined the event. In September, they dropped their second Japanese album, Youth, featuring Japanese versions of tracks from their previous 3 EPs, which went gold and peaked at #1 on Japanese charts. And only a month later, in October of 2016, it happened. BTS dropped their second studio album, Wings. It sold over 500,000 copies in its first week. In comparison, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life Part 1, released just the previous year, which topped the Gaon chart, sold about 500,000 in its entire lifetime. Wings was big, but the true showstopper was its lead single, Blood, artist ever to receive that award.
수상자는 방탄소년단.
That boy V look like he trying not to cry.
After
What the fuck
Blood,
is
Sweat,
going
and
on?
Tears, they were on a roll. BTS was unstoppable. In February of 2017, they released the instant hit Spring Day, which, quoting a Korean reviewer, embodied nostalgia and sorrow and opened a new chapter in BTS's aesthetics and lyricism and attracted fans across generational boundaries. Which, by the way, is still on Korean charts after nearly 4 years, and the same day I'm writing this, it ranked number 53 on Melon. It won Song of the Year at the 9th Melon Music Awards. After the release of Spring Day, they went on yet another tour, the 2017 BTS Live Trilogy, Episode 3, The Wings Tour. The tickets sold out within minutes, including in the United States, the first K-pop artist to do so, and went on to win Best Social Artist at the Billboard Music Awards, the first for a Korean artist, but they would go on to win this award 4 years in a row. The next year was a period of massive growth for both the group's popularity as well as their style. They released the Love Yourself series, starting with Love Yourself Her in September of 2017, Love Yourself Tear in May of 2018, and Love Yourself Answer in August of 2018. 3 albums that gave us some of the most classic BTS songs that we know and love today, such as Mic Drop, Fake Love, Euphoria, Idol, and of course, all 3 albums were commercial successes, Her being their first album to top 2 million album sales, but Tear and Answer also did equally well. These 3 albums, as well as their Japanese album, Face Yourself, proved that they weren't done yet, not even close. During this time, they shattered countless records. Their singles went platinum, they topped charts, they won awards, and not only did they break YouTube records, but they broke records that they themselves set again and again and again. This is the period where BTS really started enjoying global recognition, working with huge Western artists such as Nicki Minaj, Designer, and Steve Aoki. It wasn't their first time.
Why this nigga lying? This nigga motherfucking liar. Motherfucking Designer. Designer. Oh man, I wish I edited the videos. I'd be putting that motherfucking Soulja Boy meme. Designer. Oh Jesus Christ. Shout out to that man.
Working with huge Western artists such as Nicki Minaj, Designer, and Steve Aoki. It wasn't their first time having international features on their songs, but it was definitely the biggest. And even though they were already, without a doubt, the biggest act to ever come out of South Korea, they had their eyes set even higher. They went on tour once again for the Love Yourself World Tour. During this tour, they collaborated with Steve Aoki to make the song Wasted on Me. Wasted on me, wasted on me. notable for being their first all-English feature. And it also served as a jumping-off point for BTS to gain a following of English speakers. Not that they really needed the help, as they sold out concerts even in the US leg of the tour, including at Citi Field in Queens, New York, where tickets sold out in 20 minutes. And as if that wasn't enough, they dropped the movie in November, Burn the Stage, which in the US alone grossed $3.54 million in the first weekend, breaking the record set by One Direction's movie, This Is Us. In September, RM had the unique opportunity to speak at the United Nations, where he spoke of anti-violence and self-love. 2 years later, he would be offered to speak on a second occasion about persistence and hope in the face of challenges. And to top it all off, in October, the president of South Korea awarded every member of BTS the 5th class Hwangwon Order of Cultural Merit for outstanding meritorious services in the field of culture and art, which is one of the highest South Korean orders of merit one can receive. And that's no exaggeration. 2019 estimates put BTS's contribution to the South Korean economy to the tune of $4.65 billion each year, an equivalent to 0.3% of the country's GDP. They were the youngest to ever receive the honor. 2019, BTS invited to the Grammys, Time Magazine, Billboard. BTS entered a new era. Not an era of simply global recognition, but global dominance. April 12th, 2019, enter Map of the Soul Persona. First things first, you can't mention Map of the Soul Persona without mentioning Boy With Love. It was simple math. What do you get when you cross the singer of one of the best charting songs of all time that went platinum 59 times in 13 different countries with, without a question, the most globally dominant pop group of all time? Well, you get this. Nothing less than an instant hit. Number 8 on Billboard Hot 100, platinum in the US, 21 music show wins, number 1 on iTunes in 67 different countries. The most liked and the most viewed YouTube video in the first 24 hours. The fastest video to reach 100 million views. A current view count of over 1 billion views. 7 boys, 1 girl, and 7 different hair colors. They were the talk of the town, invited to talk show after talk show after talk show. The second single on the album was Make It Right.
Oh, I can make it right.
Written by Ed Sheeran himself, including a version featuring
It sounded like it.
The album debuted at number 1 on Gaon and sold 3.2 million copies its first month, and that's only in Korea. It became the best-selling album in South Korea ever. It swept every major Korean music show, winning Album of the Year in each one of them. They followed up this legendary EP with the Love Yourself, Speak Yourself World Tour, where they sold out both the Rose Bowl and the Wembley Stadium in only an hour, the only non-English speaking act to do so. They even performed as a solo act in Saudi Arabia, the first foreign act to do that. The last stop of their tour was at South Korea's largest venue, the Seoul Olympic Stadium. They ended up grossing $200 million. During this time, they also created a visual novel style game for mobile devices called BTS World, where the player can interact with the members. This also came with an original soundtrack with tracks unique to the game featuring Western artists. Zara Larsson, Charlie XCX, and Juice WRLD for the tracks A Brand New Day, Dream Glow, and All Night respectively. In December of 2019, the group swept the grand prizes for both the Melon and Mnet Music Award shows, the first artist to do that. Map of the Soul Persona was legendary, truly a marvel in modern music.
So how could BTS follow up the best-selling album in South Korean history, you might ask?
Easy. Make an even better selling album. And that's what they did.
You know,
with Map
it's
of the
just
Soul
so
7.
simple.
The album was released on February 21st of 2020, featuring the singles Black Swan and On. And sold over 4.1 million albums in just the first week, and the first Korean album to be certified as quadruple million on the Gaon Music Chart. It debuted at number 1 on music charts all over the world, including the US, Korea.
That's how Melon works? The quadruples of millions? This is a different way to say 4 million.
UK, Japan, and much of Europe. It's not an exaggeration to say that this album left a permanent mark on the world, launching BTS into legendary status and becoming the best-selling artist in South Korean history. BTS had scheduled a Map of the Soul tour for April of that year, which would have undoubtedly outsold their record-breaking tour only a year prior. But unfortunately, the COVID pandemic caused the entire tour to be postponed, including the show at the Rose Bowl, which I was supposed to attend. But that didn't stop BTS, who performed virtual concerts, spoke at the Dear Class of 2020 graduation event, and released the Japanese version of their recent album with an original Japanese single, Stay Gold.
Stay gold.
And to top it all off, this was only June. At this point, it was clear that BTS had already dominated their home turf, and they had topped the music charts all over the world. This time, their sight was set for the very top. Remember that scene in The Social Network where Mark and Sean talk about how they don't want $1 million, they want $1 billion? How they're not interested in catching 14 trout, but they'd rather catch an 800-pound marlin? Well, that's what they set their sights on. The marlin, the biggest music industry in the world, the United States. And at the top of that music industry, number one on Billboard Hot 100. This small group from a company that virtually no one had heard about 8 years ago planned to take on Goliath himself and dominate the American industry on their home turf. And all they had to do was speak English. August 21st, enter Dynamite. Their first English single simultaneously performed better than anyone had expected, but at the same time is exactly what we as an audience had come to expect from the legendary boy band themselves. And they did it. They reached number one on the US Billboard Hot 100, the Global 200, and the Global Excluding US chart. And they made sure that if you hadn't heard of them before, you definitely have now. And if that wasn't already the biggest flex, on October 2nd, they came out with Savage Love BTS Remix with Jason Derulo, getting number one on the Billboard Hot 100 again, less than 2 months after already getting it number one with Dynamite, and on the Global 200, where they actually replaced themselves at number one, the first artist to do so ever. And this is where we stopped in the original video, October of 2020. So, what's happened since then? Well, not much.
Isn't it like 4 more times or 2 more times?
On November 20th, their 5th studio album, B, was released, featuring the hit single Life Goes On.
If you've never heard that studio album from Common, it's a great album. Oh my God, that beat from Common is cold.
B was met with critical acclaim and hit number one on Billboard 200 and the World Albums chart, the 5th BTS album to do so, along with topping worldwide charts in countries like Belgium, Canada, Japan, New Zealand, Norway, Poland, Portugal, and of course, their hometown, South Korea. And in spite of all these accolades, perhaps the biggest winner was Life Goes On. A synth-pop showstopper encouraging its audience to continue living life even in the midst of a global pandemic. The message was clear: don't give up, life goes on. It hit number one on the Billboard Hot 100, the 3rd BTS song to do so. BTS gave the fans what they wanted with Life Goes On. Life Goes On joined the exclusive club of only 8 songs to ever top the Billboard Hot 100 that were not in English, a title most recently held by Despacito. But it was the first to do it in BTS's native tongue, Korean.
Lipa, Bad Bunny, and Tiny. Intentions by Justin Bieber and Quavo. Dynamite by BTS. Rain on Me.
The same month, the Academy announced that BTS's Dynamite would be nominated for the Best Pop Duo Group Performance.
V's suspicious face is just hilarious. He's like, I don't know about them niggas. They just said our name, but I don't know about them niggas.
Along with songs by J Balvin, Justin Bieber, Lady Gaga, and Taylor Swift. This marked the first time a Korean pop artist was nominated for a Grammy. In December, BTS was invited to sing for Disney's holiday sing-along. And on New Year's Eve, Big Hit put on a New Year's concert where they performed again. Things looked really good for BTS and their Grammy nomination, especially since on March 4th, 2021, the official news came. The International Federation of the Phonographic Industry, or IFPI, announced BTS as the Global Recording Artist of the Year, an award given to the best-selling artist of 2020, period, beating out 9 other prominent Western artists, making them the first artist from Korea, but perhaps more importantly, the first non-English artist to do so. Later that month, the Grammys. The main event that everyone was waiting for.
The big snub and risky.
With bated breath, BTS and the world watched. And, well...
And the Grammy goes to Rain on Me, Lady Gaga, Ariana Grande.
Snub tails.
They didn't win. However, they made history for being the first South Korean artist to perform at the Grammys, after presenting at the Grammys the year prior. March 31st, 2021, Big Hit Entertainment officially rebrands as HYBE and completely revamps their organization. BTS now falls under Big Hit Music, which is now a subsidiary of HYBE Labels, a division of the HYBE Corporation. 2 days later, HYBE acquires Scooter Braun's Ithaca Holdings. Scooter Braun Projects is a subsidiary of Ithaca Holdings that manages several artists including Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, J Balvin, Carly Rae Jepsen, Black Eyed Peas, Demi Lovato.
Doesn't Ithaca still hold the publishing rights to Taylor Swift's original body of work as well? That's why she re-recorded and put out all her stuff. Or did she pay that man so he doesn't own it no more? But last I heard, Scooter owned her masters for a lot of the music from the early days.
And others, which means that those artists are now part of the same family as BTS. Then, at long last, BTS announced their highly anticipated follow-up single.
Yeah, we should stop doing that too. Just because we're in the same company does not make us in the same family. Not even fucking close. Not even close. Not even close. Especially because that's not how it works on an American record label. Just because we're on the same label doesn't mean anything. Not even like I may not even know you're on the label. Like, no, let's not start that lie. They're not the same family. Because if they were, they'd be, at least how I look at it and with how I want to interact with other artists. If I fuck with you, I promote your shit. I actually listen to your shit. I push your shit just as much as I push my shit. Just because we're on the same album or label like they are with all those artists like Demi Lovato and all that. Demi Lovato's not pushing their music. Not saying she hasn't shared it, but just more so when those folks got an album coming out, there's no reciprocity for real. Like, it's no real family dynamic. It's business. It's not a family. It's completely different. And I feel like calling it a family just because they're part of the same label that did operate very much like a family to give us BTS is a disservice to what Big Hit and BTS have done and are continuing to do. So yeah, it's for sure not a family, at least not in my book.
Single to their smash English hit Dynamite, and that single was Butter. May 21st, 2021.
Smooth like butter, like a criminal undercover.
It didn't disappoint.
Did Bruno
the retro
Mars
summer
write that
pop
one?
hit met immediate success and universal praise. Butter was yet another #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and once again topped the charts around the world. Not only that, but it had 3.9 million viewers at its premiere, which broke the previous record held by Dynamite. It also broke the record for fastest YouTube video to reach 10 million views and 100 million views, both also previously held by Dynamite. It was the most viewed music video on YouTube in the first 24 hours with 108.2 million views, once again surpassing the 101.1 million views set by Dynamite. And finally, at 11 million streams on its first day on Spotify, it once again set a new world record. And as an amazing gesture, RM makes a shout out to BTS's fans, ARMY, who helped them get to where they are today. All of this is to say, it was really big.
Their new single broke streaming records on Spotify and YouTube.
Obsessed with this song. Is really, really amazing.
I mean, what is the inspiration behind the new song?
Butter.
Butter.
Inspiration.
That's what's
man,
Butter.
music journalists suck.
Butter eventually became Billboard's
fucking terrible
#1 song of 2021, spending 10 weeks atop the chart, beating out Olivia Rodrigo's Driver's License.
Yeah, we're here for the BTS. A drink and fries. Chicken McNuggets. And one more thing. Two more things. Sweet chili sauce and cage.
On May 26th, the BTS meal launched.
I've never even heard of this meal. I know somebody told me about this meal. While living in LA, I've never fucking seen this at all. And I really think everybody should stop partnering with McDonald's, Burger King, all of them, unless they're willing to actually do like a a real meal. Them niggas just picked items off of the menu and was like, all right, that's a 10-piece nugget meal. You gonna charge me an extra $3 to call it a BTS meal. Now I'm paying $13 for 10 nuggets instead of the $7.99 I should have been paying. And Jesus Christ, let me tell you, as an American, these prices for McDonald's in the UK are exorbitant. This is ridiculous. Don't even get me started on Burger King. Like, God damn it. I'm paying like 12 quid for a fucking double Whopper. It's ridiculous. It's out of hand. It is out of hand.
Yeah, the BTS meal at McDonald's.
Yeah, that happened. June 16th, BTS releases their third Japanese compilation album known as BTS The Best. It instantly hit #1 on Japan's Oricon chart and sold over 1 million albums, the first and only Korean boy group so far to accomplish this feat. The new Japanese single, Film Out, was released 2 months earlier and debuted at #1 on the Oricon chart. and as an interesting fact, charted at 185 on the Billboard 200 excluding US chart, joining Dynamite and Life Goes On, making BTS the only artist to ever have 3 songs in 3 different languages on the Billboard 200. On July 1st, following an organizational restructuring, the Hype Corporation announced that Hitman Bang, our same Hitman Bang who got the boys together, resigned as CEO of the company in order to focus on his passion for music production. And while he is still the chairman of the board of directors, he was replaced as CEO by Park Ji-won. On July 7th, BTS became a...
Park is pronounced Park. Well, excuse me. Park is pronounced Park, like Anderson Paak, not Anderson Paak. I'm surprised I didn't even put that together until this moment trying to ask this question. So Park is not Park. Because in America, we for sure putting a hard R on that Park. Like, that boy's name is Park.
Official models for Louis Vuitton as they walked Ji-won.
Hold up. What's that jacket?
On July 7th, BTS became official models for...
But my nigga V out here cutting up.
For Louis Vuitton as they walked the runway for part of their men's fall-winter 2021 collection. They were named as ambassadors only 2 months prior, and then for their teaser trailer, they forgot to put V in the video. And finally, that brings us to July 9th, Permission to Dance. The hit song, which was written by Ed Sheeran, spreads positive vibes as the world starts to recover from the global pandemic. Its YouTube debut saw 72.3 million views in the first 24 hours, placing itself at number 6 of the top 10 most viewed music videos in the first 24 hours. Out of BTS's past 5 singles, 3 of them have been fully in English. And while this trend has been concerning for some fans who have been wanting more traditional Korean pop songs, there's no denying that BTS has enjoyed global recognition like no other international songs. There's no denying that BTS...
Can we... No more mullets. No more mullets. No more mullets.
Yes, has enjoyed...
God damn it. Damn, no, my nigga. I'd rather you get my nigga dreads again. Shit. This is terrible. Looks like some radioactive spillage on my nigga's head. This is out of line.
Global recognition like no other international and particularly non-English group before them. And that itself is a sign of success that can't be ignored. And as a fun fact, there's a line in the song referencing legendary singer-songwriter Elton John.
When it all seems like it's wrong, sing along to Elton John and to that feeling.
He gave the song his personal approval. That same month, BTS once again tops the Billboard Hot 100 with Permission to Dance, marking number 5 of BTS singles that have topped the Billboard Hot 100. In August, Big Hit officially cancels the Map of the Soul tour due to the pandemic, but to everyone's surprise, only a month later they announced the Permission to Dance on-stage tour, being their first live concert since 2019. The tour kicked off with a concert in Seoul in October, but later announced dates for Los Angeles in November and December. Barely 2 months after their previous #1 hit, BTS collaborates with legendary British rock band Coldplay to drop yet another #1 hit on Billboard's Hot 100 with My Universe.
Forever, baby.
In November, BTS wins Artist of the Year at the American Music Awards.
The American Music Award goes to
BTS!
Not only were they the first K-pop group to ever win the award, but they were the first Asian act ever to win that award.
Next, we have Best Pop Duo or Group Performances. The nominees are Butter by BTS.
Coldplay. Sorry, Chris.
I forgot about my niggas. They on the
same
song
week,
too.
They were nominated for a Grammy for Best Pop Group Performance. From November 27th to December 2nd, BTS held its first international concert since 2019 in Los Angeles, California, the Permission to Dance onstage tour. And, well, it was insane. They were to perform at the SoFi Stadium, one of the largest stadiums in the United States, and coincidentally, it would be the same stadium that held the Super Bowl. Pre-sales started October 5th for those who bought VIP soundcheck tickets. And though ticket sales for the general public were supposed to start on October 9th, they ended up selling out before it even started. Demand for the tickets were so high that scalpers were reselling tickets for up to $40,000. Thankfully, we were one of the lucky ones, and we were able to snag a few tickets and finally see them in person.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we did it.
We got them.
It felt like a farewell concert. and it really was supposed to be, with the uncertainty about the future of the world, as well as Jin's enlistment looming over the group's head. But thanks to recently passed South Korean legislation known colloquially as the BTS law, the group had been granted a postponement on their mandatory military service until further notice. And just to show that they weren't done yet, only 2 months later, tour dates were added for April 8th, 9th, 15th, and 16th in Las Vegas, Nevada. On December 6, 2021, BTS surprised their fans as they launched individual Instagram accounts for the first time ever. In doing so, V broke the record for the fastest time to reach 1 million followers on Instagram in just 43 minutes. And then he also achieved the fastest time to reach 10 million followers after only 4 hours and 52 minutes. The same day, the group announced that they were suspending activities in order to take an extended period of rest so that they could spend more time with their family. And this is crazy. This is only their second break that they've ever taken since their debut in 2013, which is just such a testament of how hard they actually work. The break was definitely well-deserved.
상자는 우리의 멋진 방탄소년단.
축하합니다. 방탄소년단 버터.
방탄소년단.
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 On December 11th, BTS swept the Mnet Asian Music Awards, winning all 4 daesangs. This marks the 3rd consecutive year that BTS has swept the awards, showing no signs of slowing down in their home country. In February, BTS won IFPI's Best-Selling Artist of the Year award for the 2nd time in a row, the only artist ever to do so, and only the 3rd artist to win more than once, along with Taylor Swift and Drake. Impressive considering how new BTS is on the international stage compared to the others. On March 25th, Snoop Dogg officially confirms an upcoming collaboration with BTS that he had been hinting at since January of the same year. Funny enough, he admits that he didn't know at the time exactly how big they were.
We're getting calls from the biggest artists in the world. I got a group named BTS that's waiting on me to do a song with them right now, and I'm trying to figure out if I got time to do this.
Regardless, it's nice to see BTS revisit their hip-hop roots every now and then. And that brings us to it's nice to see BTS revisit their hip-hop.
I can guarantee you that Warren G is somewhere in Los Angeles right now talking about, yeah, I know them niggas. I taught them everything they know about hip-hop. They wouldn't even know how to rap without me. I promise you Warren is somewhere doing that.
Roots every now and then.
And that brings us to today, Sunday, April 3rd, 2022.
BTS had been previously nominated for the Grammys once before, and even
Snubbed
then
again.
were by far the most accomplished and critically acclaimed artists in their category, and they didn't win. Unfortunately, history repeated itself. They once again were snubbed of the trophy. Some might regard this as a huge loss, a huge blow to BTS and their fans. Sure, some might say that they missed out on the most prestigious music award the world can give. Right? I'd argue, no, not really. I'm sure if they had one, ARMY around the world would celebrate as BTS wins against all odds in a rigged award show skewed towards American English-speaking songs. But the truth is, they never needed to win an award to garner any sort of praise. They don't need a trophy to be validated. They were able to do that all on their own. Boy bands come and go, but BTS continues to prove themselves by pushing the envelope, pushing themselves to the limit. BTS sets new records, they smash decade-long records, and then they replace themselves by breaking their own records by the very next thing that they do. That's just what BTS does. From humble beginnings in their old studio dance practice room to selling out the world's largest stadiums, these 7 boys have crawled their way up to the top thanks to their own blood, sweat, and tears. They dominate a world that 10 years ago would have been unthinkable for any Asian group. Even 5 years ago, the majority of people you'd meet wouldn't have listened to K-pop or even heard of K-pop. In the past year, their popularity has grown so much that we often forget how groundbreaking they are as a group and how much progress they've made in such little time on the world stage, not only for themselves, but for Korean and Asian representation for a whole. From the early days of their first fan meetings to today, a staggering 41 million members of ARMY have been with them, some since the beginning, but others joining along the way. Each one of us started following them because of one of their songs that spoke to us, or maybe it was something that they said, or their amazing talents that spoke for themselves, or maybe it's something they stood for, or maybe you just think they're hot. And that's fine too. Regardless of the reason you initially started following them, the important thing is that you're here for it. and that you're along for the ride, and that you continue to find beauty in the things that they do, because according to the group themselves, they chose the theme for their album, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, because in life, beauty coexists with uncertainty, and even in uncertain times like ours, we can find that beauty. And with all their talent, the members of BTS really could have chosen to do so many other things, but they chose to share some of that beauty with us, and I'm grateful for that. And I can't wait to see what the future holds.
And that's our April 2022 update. There's been lots of crazy things happening recently, and I'm excited to see what the rest of 2022 has in store for the group and for all of us. Thank you to everyone who's been watching our videos. We're always looking to improve our videos, so if you find something that needs improving, leave a comment below. And remember, this video was made possible by Vapor95. Use our link in the description.
Nah, son. Come to $1 Billion Plot. Don't get some reproduced graphics from Fiverr. Come to wear some shit that somebody really designed that looks fly, not just some reproduction pieces. I can't support the Vapor95 advertising outside the fact that they put money in my man's pocket to make that video. So Vapor, keep paying that man, but fix your designs. That said, though, I'm happy we've gotten this one done. There was some finite details I didn't know about, some other stuff that was cool to just kind of see again. But overall, I feel like I knew most of it from the stuff I've looked at, but it did give me, for sure, what's that song? I'm for sure going to rap on that, I think. Gave me this song. No More Dream. I'm for sure might rap on that. I don't know. I really got to listen to it, see if it sparks a bar in me. If it does, I'll do the remix. I'll do a remix, but I don't know. But it's the beat, though. That bass when it comes in, oh my God, it's cold. That said, though, that's gonna be it for me on this one. I've taken up enough of your time. If you made it to the end, thank you very much. I truly do appreciate you. If you could please hit that like, subscribe, Patreon's in the description, and let's get into the next one. I see you on the next one. I'm out of here. Peace.